I mean, that's one of his go-tos for sure. Here we go into the second draft of the series. DTS currently up 1-0, and it's Dragonshire for game number 2.
All right, well, one thing we have seen is a high priority on Zarya bans during the first phase. A lot of these teams recognizing that. And Cata's Encore does not want to deal with Fala again.
Can't blame him. I mean, Faye had those hatred stacks on lockdown. This is another map where you can keep those flowing as the fights and the rotations happen, but the ETC lock-in, respecting the power of that hero with the just the presence in the rotations right away.
I actually wouldn't be surprised to see an early Leeming pickup here to deny it from Faye. And I say that because for ranged assassins, you find yourself in a tricky situation. There's a reason why Vala and Leeming are so highly prioritized. They have mobility. The wave clear is fine, and they have good damage. And when you start to look at the next tier, Gul'dan, Kael'thas, Jaina, they lack mobility. They're strong in other areas, but the reason why you see these heroes so heavily prioritized in competitive scene is due to their mobility,
right,
as well as all the other things that we just talked about.
Not as vulnerable to those rotations, but they're going to actually go for the Dahaka right away, not going to let that slip out of their fingers to be their top laner, most likely. Looking at DTS, will Kona go for the mouth early again? I wouldn't be too surprised. There it is. This is where they could mix things up. We've seen Sergeant Hammer in scenarios like this. We've seen Tyrande in scenarios like this on Dragonshire. You talked about Li Ming. If Faye wants to make sure she has one of her number 1 heroes, this is a great time to just get that incredibly powerful comfort pick for her. And if you're rotating and getting resets, you snowball that game with Li Ming. So they've got the options for sure.
Spending plenty of time thinking about it. They're dipping into their time pool just a little bit, trying to determine what their next pick is going to be, and I don't blame them. Sometimes it's a matter of picking it up in terms of priority. They are picking up Leeming very early, which means Cata's Encore is going to have some decisions to make in terms of their range damage. Falstad still being on the board. Wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being the pick, maybe running the double global.
Yeah, I could even be a ban here. If that's something DTS is worried about, you look at Falstad, you look at Brightwing, multiple globals on the table to pair with that Dahaka. You might say you want to take that away. So I would expect either a Brightwing or Falstad ban here for DTS, as we do see that Thrall, the strong solo laner we were potentially considering for DTS, being taken away on their side.
I think this is a map that... Now, Li Ming's obviously a Fae hero, but I think this is a map I've actually seen Dumpster Tier try Lost Vikings on.
There's the Hammer ban.
The ban hammer?
I guess so. Ariel. No Brightwing? Or they could do both. It's going to be Ariel Leoric. This is a very different style than we typically see.
Now, there is one team in particular that runs Leoric on Dragonshire. It's never with this composition, though, but Fnatic. And a lot of people know Fnatic, especially after BlizzCon. But
if you haven't seen those games, do yourself a favor and watch them, man. But
yeah, but they were probably the only team I've seen run Leoric on this map, and they used to run it with a Tassadar and Lunara composition, similar to what they would run sometimes on Tomb of the Spider Queen. It's not something we see too often on Dragonshire, so we'll see how effective it will be.
The double bruiser is very EU, though, if I have to say so. Well, lots of options here for DTS. They will likely want their solo laner. Could be Alarak, could be Chen. They've got a few options. Rexar is something you do see from time to time on this map, far from standard.
Yeah, it's some of the times that we see this because it's generally going to be in Tomb, and I like the Falstad pickup, and it goes back to the mobility thing again, is that you get caught in the Entomb and you don't have a way to get out, you're putting your team in a bad spot, and you're probably going to die. And right now, the only person that doesn't have that option is Malfear, and I actually wouldn't be surprised if we see Crowd Surfer from ETC for that reason alone.
Yeah, and then you'll get Ice Block guaranteed at 13.
That's what I was wondering if they were going to go.
So they're doing that with Goku. Falstad's going to be their top lane hero in this matchup, which is okay versus Dahaka. Of course, having that global response is nice as well. Gust versus Entomb, also very, very useful.
I really feel like Falstad was going to be the choice for Catas, and it might have just got taken away from him. And
yeah, I would agree with that.
I'm trying to think of heroes that could potentially fit in this rotation. Like Jaina, Gul'dan doesn't necessarily scream out to me, especially against this composition.
I mean, Gul'dan works with the Ariel, but that's about the biggest synergy you're getting right there. I agree. It's not really the hero you want in your rotation. It's not the ideal safe ranged assassin. Jaina with Frostbolt build definitely safer than the Gul'dan just because she has all the slow and control. We doesn't not yelling Greymane here. It could be Sylve if they just want something safer.
Could it be something like Lunara? You can have the extra vision. At 13, you get greater spell shield, which is huge against this team.
Yeah, that's a good point with greater
I'm
spell
just trying to
shield.
think of options that they have. The Butcher.
They're thinking about it too. They're down to 10 seconds left in their time.
Just kidding on the Butcher, by the way.
They're going to Zebo. Oh my goodness.
Okay. Wait.
Oh.
All right, so let's talk about this pick a little bit because Nazebo did receive a bit of a change, a minor one, this week. And I'm pulling up the notes now so that we can analyze this a little bit. I'm not sure how it fits into the composition. Corpse spiders, the speed that you throw them at increased by 20%. Toads of hugeness, they increase their damage every hop. That's at level 7 talent. And level 16 is Soul Harvest, which isn't used that often to begin with. So
I played about 11 games of Nazebo straight the other day just to like see what the toad change feels like, what the missile feels
you can
like.
normally get that out of 2 or 3 games, but you said you played 11.
Yeah, I know. I actually kind of like
I looked at your game history earlier, and it was
Nazebo.
Nazebo all
It's
the
more
way
than a
down.
full page
Yeah.
of Nazebo in a row. And he does feel better, but like zombie walls are fine in rotations. But let's actually pull the draft back up so we can just talk about this. ETC, you put a zombie wall around him, he just pushes them away. Like
Yeah.
Li Ming can just blink away from it. Falsic can barrel away. Zerto can blink away. Malfurion's rarely going to be, Iacona has to misplay if he gets hit by a zombie wall. Now, generally speaking, one of the greater strengths we can see on Nazebo is you go Toad build. And if you decide to get the quest talent level 1 so you can get the 5 Toads, and then you get the Toads of Hugeness, it's amazing siege. It's free poke at a wall. But I don't know that that's what they want here.
There comes a time on Dragonshire, and it kind of goes to like split Asmo builds, certain maps for Abathur, or like Nidus Network, right? You can get yourself so far, but then you start to have to apply pressure to the keeps. And being on that side of the map, you leave yourself vulnerable. And it's a reason why we don't see heroes like that, pick heroics like that, especially on a lot of maps, is that, yeah, you can get that far. Yeah, you can get to the keeps doing that, but what happens then? That's always my concern with heroes like that.
Yeah, it's why we never see him. I mean, I can't recall the last time we got to see Nazebo played in a competitive match.
I Dream on Sky Temple. Was that during Nexus games? Were you gone that week?
I might have been gone.
I think it was the week you were gone.
Yeah, my
I
wedding.
Dream played it on Sky Temple.
Jay, have you seen the Carbots Nazebo video where it's like a rap?
I have not.
Oh my goodness, Jay, do you even play this game?
That's all I do. I don't even like watch the YouTubes.
You need to watch that video.
I'm busy playing it.
Dude, it is actually the most beautiful thing ever. If you guys haven't seen it, check out Carbots Nazebo rap. I don't know what episode it is, probably like 19 or something. But we're getting ready for game number 2. Everyone's just about readied up. I'm going to hit ready to check the count. 10 out of 10. And
Not
here we go.
6.5. It's a good thing.
There are comeback mechanics if you have Nazebo.
Hopefully they teach me what those are, because Nazebo in this composition, they're going to be lacking a lot of, I guess, that poke damage. Nazebo, it's very difficult to land those skill shots. Toads, it's very easy to avoid. Spiders, they have to hit something in order for them to explode and to release those spiders.
It's true. Skill shot hero for sure. But on the left side, that is Cata's Encore. Ethics on the Leoric. BBJ on Ario's Lurd. Going to be playing Dahaka Soy on the Leeming. Excuse me.
Nesbo.
That's Nazebo. Gosh, he looks so silly with that hat. And Tychus running the team as Talion.
All right, on the other side, it is going to be Dumpster Tier Superstars up 1-0. We're going to see ETC played by Srey, Iacona on Malfurion, Faye on Li Ming, Goku on Zeratul, and Hosty on his most played hero, Falstad.
The false father himself. Well, right out of the gates, we actually do see the additional reach, Thing of the Deep, going to be picked up just for more options. I mean, skill shots easier to land. Zombie walls, more importantly, you have the additional 20% range with that. And we'll have to see what it can do with it. I actually, I pick it the least myself, but I'm not the one in the hot seat. These guys are the seasoned pros competing for this spot. And, of course, having all the additional option, you could get those rotations with the kills.
Yeah, stay safe, stay healthy, and we can see the priority. One other thing to look out for, Falstad opting to go Seasoned Marksman build this game. A little bit easier to rotate between lanes. We see Zeratul and ETC on the mini-map. They're up in the top. I think Zeratul will likely be up there most of the time. But it's up to Falstad to get those stacks.
Yeah, well, just safe poking around. No real collapses except for Leoric, who is getting completely slayed in the mid lane as he steps forward a bit too far. And Goku Hosting is very happy to pick up that first blood.
Yeah, not too shabby at all. Obviously, he's going to hopefully pick up Heart and Bones at level 4, make it a little bit safer for him to use that Wraith Walk out of there. Faye already showing why that blink out is so important as the zombie wall goes down. Jumps right over with the teleport. No big deal.
A lot of mobile heroes, yeah, just to nullify the presence of that zombie wall. Good collection here. Top altar in favor of DTS. They're looking to grab bottom. Battalion dodging the skill shots. They got Faye once again being that forward hero as she can retreat from the zombie wall. The only real CC that's a risk right now, Detainment Strike. No way Faye slips up and gets hit by that.
All right, we see Leoric passing through the middle again, but they're rotating down, trying to isolate a few heroes. The roots go down, but returning some of that damage is Talion going in there on Tychus.
Dahaka will take control of the top. That will give control of both for a brief moment as we see DTS slip on in. Falstad with the fly. Hosty's reclaiming his top lane, looking to take control. Leoric gets picked off once again in the mid.
Yeah, that rotation from Goku is very, very tough right now for them to deal with, and so far, not playing the safest. Again, Hardened Bones was picked up for Leoric, going to allow him to get out a little bit safer. But obviously, you don't want to be giving up deaths too early.
Leoric is an interesting pick. So far, obviously, the 2 kills aren't really helping them. But with Hardened Bones, he should be able to get away with a little bit more. It's just I don't see the full like combo that they are looking for. You know, the zombie wall. This is nice, right? But when are they going to be able to get the kills with it?
You know, it goes back to a big thing that I talked about earlier this year. It started to become a thing. It was like, wait a minute, like this is actually kind of correct. A lot of people were trying to defend Nazebo back in April. This is before his rework, right? He's obviously a much different hero now. But they were like, oh, well, I have tops damage on Nazebo. That's fine. You can get plenty of damage off those spiders. It's really easy. You land it, you get the damage, but it's not effective damage.
It's not meaningful, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Spider build, when it's like full maxed out, is like good burst damage. It's good single target damage, especially if you land the single on a single hero. But beyond that, Nazebo really just kind of sprinkles it everywhere. It's just like a confetti machine.
Well, we'll see. We see Zlurd taking a bit of damage up there from Falstad, but a little bit of a back and forth, and this is where you start to take control of the map by getting camps, by being able to force the opponent to respond at your will, and you do that by grabbing siege camps and things like that. And right now, Dumpster T are recognizing they've got to get a little bit of control. Talia has got to stop eating those combos in that push, though.
Yeah, I mean, sure, BBJ can heal through that all day, but we now have a moment in which this could be a dragon with both in control. Leoric has, well, shown that he likes to die. And missing that Drain Hope, well, that's going to be a dragon.
Yeah, and we saw this a lot yesterday. It's not about what the Dragon Knight does. It's about what your team does against that Dragon Knight. Right now we see Iacona and Faye down here on Li Ming and Malfurion keeping the Siege Giants alive, actually, healing those to do more damage, but Stray starting to push it in the middle.
Kona loves to heal Mercs. Like, he will do it at every opportunity. Doesn't matter if he's on Medic or Mouth. He'll throw those heals out when able to. We do see Dahaka actually getting picked off in the top lane. Goku rotated once more. Found the third kill here for DTS, who now have a full level lead, and the Dragon is not done yet. 20 seconds remain.
Again, I'm super worried about this composition from Cata's Encore. They just have no threat. Dumpster Tier has not even flinched. They are just taking whatever they're throwing, and they're like, all right, well, we can do it better with our composition. The picks, the rotations from Goku, huge. Iacona, obviously, they're pinging him to be a little bit afraid, but
yeah, and he's
there's
just
no threat. There's none.
level 10, just about here. That was their window. That's why they put the Brush Talker in. Obviously, Iacona heard it happening and just made sure not to push out. They're going to get the Bruiser Camp. They're going to have level 10 moments away. Malfurion's at max mana just about from the rotation, and they can look for a fight.
Yeah, very easily so, and they're not in position right now to invade anything, so they're going to be giving up the siege camp on the left here to Cata's Encore. You know, I'm seeing Dead Rush. We're not seeing any bit of Toad build coming out from from Cata's Encore and that Nazebo, so
It's going to be interesting to see this build unfold. Was not expecting this.
I don't think anybody was expecting this one.
Probably not. Well, so far, it just looks like DTS controlling the map, grabbing as many Merc camps as they can, going for this forward Bruiser camp in the bottom lane as they push down the Giants.
They can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Like, there's absolutely nothing that they can do to respond as we see Zlurd trying to defend in that top lane, but right now, Dumpster Tier in complete control.
Goku putting the pressure on Talent. Stage dive down. The power slide not even needed as they pick up that kill. Hosty flying down to continue this pressure, and as they push forward with these Knights, level 10's been locked in, but too little too late.
Too little too late indeed, and there we go. The heroics are locked in. Gargantuan, not Ravenous Spirit, picked up, and it's already been unleashed to try and defend this bottom fort.
Small benefit. Dahaka is soaking up top on his own, getting his team a bit of experience to try to keep things even. Gargantuan just kind of feeling sluggish.
A little bit.
He ate too many tacos.
12 to 10, 13 right around the corner for Dumpster Tier. Again, complete control, taking out that bottom fort. They're going to open up again throughout the game, opening up windows of opportunity as they continue to take camps, as they continue to get Dragon Knights. And it looks like a little bit of a failed attempt there with the Entomb. Not a very long cooldown, so not a huge deal.
13 around the corner. I mean, this is just the standard. Choke them out, grab the Merc camps, grab another Dragon. Dahaka will not be able to contest this in the mid lane. Goku picks up back-to-back Dragons. That one seemingly free just due to the sheer control DTS has across the map. I mean, they could get both forts here, J-Hub.
They easily could, and to be able to keep Falstad up in that top lane, we're going to see the boot out, but not able to get it. You can see that Drain Hope actually does really well against the Dragon Knight if you're not able to interrupt that. But Odin has been used to try and defend here.
And that's going to work out quite well, actually. They're making sure they maintain their soak in all of the lanes. Falstad not able to do anything in top, and the Odin's enough to take this out. But once again, when you spend Odin defensively like that, it's a long cooldown that you're leaving yourself vulnerable, and they're not going to be able to safely push out in the map. VP used. They could look for the fight here. Stage dive. Expect it right now.
Yeah, I mean, Goku.
Nope, not doing it.
He used it somewhere because it's on cooldown. He went top with it?
Oh, I guess it was on cooldown. Yeah. Huh. Weird.
He went up there to try and get that kill on, and looks like Dahaka's going to have a hard time surviving here.
One more auto. Boop. There he goes. Okay, so top fort. Dedaruni.
This is what good teams do. This is what experienced teams do, is they get a lead, as you talked about, and they don't let go. And right now,
That was quick. Heart and bones. More like
brittle bones? Dumpster Tier in complete control, finding themselves 2 levels up, taking every camp that they could possibly find. They're going to rotate over, should be able to take down this middle fort without a problem. And Jake, as they start to take down the forts, not only are they getting that experience, wait a minute, they got to be careful where they rotate back through. BBJ, careful.
Yeah, Kona was attempting those routes, not able to get Ariel on the lockdown, but Faye just going to use that disintegrate, make sure they finish that fort off. That once again, the stranglehold resumes for DTS. Look at the experience, J-How. I mean, they're just playing this safe and clean.
You know, part of the job sometimes we're doing the casting is trying to analyze the situation and figure out what we can do, right? And I'm looking at Cata's Encore, and I'm just struggling to find like how they're going to take team fights successfully, how they're going to get picks. Like, you can get damage as Nazebo, but it doesn't come quick. Tychus and Dahaka and Leoric are your 3 main damage dealers that you're leaning on, and that's very difficult to do.
It's almost like they drafted a sustain draft, but that's not how Dragonshire works out. If there were other maps where the objective is in a single location where you just have this guaranteed team fight, I think I like the composition a little bit more. But I'm not sold on the composition for Cata's Encore for Dragonshire.
I mean, they've got a party bush set up here waiting for Stray. Stray a little bit too experienced to just walk out casually. They realize they don't see anybody on the map. And the thing is, that's good for Cata's Encore, but Jake, they're giving up a siege and a bruiser camp in the process.
And likely a dragon at this rate. Goku should make his way to the mid if they do get eyes on. Leo's going to be the only one to show to this wave, but ETC now stepping on forward to grab control here. Goku on his way to the dragon, and this could be a keep going down. Kosti has the gust, not even needed as Iacona is able to force Ethics away. Here we go.
It's an experience right now showing on the side of Cata's Encore. They're not used to it. We see the rotation out. They're forced to respond to those camps, and those camps, for the most part, are still alive. And you can see, again, Malfurion, Iacona is healing that siege camp in the back, allowing them to continue to push while the DK runs up to the front and will soak up quite a bit of these shots while doing some damage in the meantime.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what Cata's Encore can do right now. They're just doing their best to defend. Sray maintaining this presence up here, actually really putting Zlurd in a bad spot. Needs to use his essence in this fight. Goku, yes, he's lost most of the health on his dragon, but this fight's far from over. Doing a bit of damage. It will end up falling. They still have a huge lead in XP, and if they want to pressure the walls, more than welcome to.
Let's think about timing. Okay, right now they have a 3-level lead. If they don't get picked at all, they should be able to get the next Dragonite. They'll be 20 around that time, take bottom keep, potentially the game if they get a pick or two. But at that point, they have complete control of the map. They'll get not only the bottom keep, but they'll be able to have other opportunities opened up as well. And it's just so crucial on this map that catapults, forcing lane rotations, forcing you to back when there's 2 control points plus a capture point, it's so difficult to deal with when you're that far behind.
Yeah, it's. I mean, they're basically looking for 16. The moment they get it, they're gonna go for a desperate fight. If it loses, they'll lose a keep, possibly the game. Oh no, this is not good.
That will make capturing a keep a little bit easier.
Yeah, a little bit. They have 0 sustain without that Ariel. They're going to siege up. They've got the Siege Giants with them. ETC still holding top. Shrines won't be up for a little while. Soy forced to ice block, but the Odin raining down stage dive with the power slide behind. Not going to commit to it as Soy rotates and taps the wall. Kona very low, but the VP saves the day.
Iacona just hanging on by a thread there. Sray gets that power slide through. Made a little bit of aggressive approach. Did not end up getting the keep there, I think, if they would have played their cards right. But Dumpster Tier feeling a little bit confident. Good thing for Cata's Encore, though. Level 16 picked up.
Yeah, 16 is what they need. They won't have Odin for a minute, but beyond that, they're going to be doing okay. This is the closest. This is the best moment they have in this game right now to turn things around. But they can't just let a dragon go for free.
Talk to me about Fireflies being the pick here at 16 as opposed to Mirror Ball. I'm trying to wrap my head around that. There's not a lot of high mobility heroes that you're trying to hit with skill shots. But if you're looking at guarantee damage, that's one way to do it. They did Faye did opt to go Seeker at 7 ever since the Calamity nerf, so making sure you land all 3 of those does give you a bit of damage. All the while,
I think it's just they probably feel they have enough damage to try to surprise the Ariel. Maybe the timing difference is enough to catch her off guard with things like the Crystal Aegis. That's the only thing I can think of. But Jay, I'm so sad to see this Dragon just be given up. I know they're pushed in, but this is level 20 on the horizon for DTS. They're marching forward. That small window where they're on the even talent footing has more or less been lost in this fight. It's going to be a hard defense.
And we see Cata's Encore continue to just eat so much damage every time they walk into this. Now, the Dragonite definitely needs to be able to secure the keep. It's taken quite a bit of damage. The Gargantuan already out. The Tychus.
Yeah, that kill. Falstad in the mix, doing huge damage. Ethics barely alive as BBJ is able to get the heal, and there goes the first keep of the game. And Goku continuing to put the pressure on, rotating to mid keep. That one will be falling as well. Ethics gonna follow.
2 members are down. Leoric will obviously be back up a little bit quicker than most other heroes, but as you said, this should be keep number 2. Nice zombie wall. And the detainment strike into the zombie wall.
It's
Points
cool,
for style.
It's
but
a cool combo. It really is, but it hasn't really mattered so far. There's a Crystal Aegis. I mean, the double sustain, but they're just buying time.
I mean, there were so many combos. It's like, all right, I'm going to burrow for one. I'm going to Crystal Aegis for another. You can't survive that long. Nicely done there. Look at this timing on this camp. Camp just came back. Dumpster Tear says, thank you very much.
How courteous of the map to give us this tasty morsel. Well, yeah, I mean, there's not much to say. Catapults in bottom and top. DTS with a monstrous lead, 10 kills to nil. They haven't dropped a 4. Have they even dropped a structure? Jay, how their structures are pretty healthy, except this poor little tower here. The game speaks for itself.
The game does speak for itself. Just in complete control. No questions asked this game. It is Dragonshire. You start to lose a fight late game, you give up the DK. And remember, those DKs late in the game, man, are so impactful when they start hitting those structures. It's not out of the question Cata's Encore can't come back.
Right.
But they've dug themselves a pretty big hole here.
They have Nazebo. We talked about his damage being subjective to just, is it meaningful? Hasn't been getting the kills. Sure, he's put up 21K top for his team, but obviously they haven't gotten a kill yet with this style of play. I will say, however, they've done a good job blowing up the Dragons pretty effectively. The Dragons could have been doing a bit more in this match.
Season Marksman has been finished. Actually up to 49 stacks for Falstad. So a significant amount of damage coming out from Falstad there with that Season Marksman.
That's actually, I love that style. Hosty loves it too. Well, they're in position for another Dragon with Hosty in the bottom. Big presence on the top side of the map. 20 still quite far away. It looks like it could be Dragon Knight for Faye.
And it's uncontested and very difficult to do so. That camp in the top lane was forced to be cleared out, but camp now pushing the bottom. Catapults in middle and bottom. Tychus can tear away some health, but Dragon Knight, it's still 17 minutes in, so it's not a guarantee that it's the end of the game, but the way that Dumpster Tear's been playing, it seems like a likely scenario.
This siege, Catapults, Giants, Dragons, stage dive. They are on the court, and Tomb is okay, but the Gust forces them away, and down goes the core one whack at a time.
There's no surviving this at this point. Just an absolutely dominant performance from Dumpster Tear. I couldn't